Hey guys, it's Ron Bass with another edition of The Ron Bass Show. It's your source for inspiration, encouragement, motivation, and dry humor. Mr. Brent Atterbury, Mr. Producer, Executive Producer.
Happy Wednesday.
Happy Wednesday. Yay! Hey, guess what?
What?
Had a cool experience last night.
Did you?
Yeah. You know how we always talk about kindness?
Yep.
How we should share the kindness.
Yes,
The dollar
sir.
bill's in your pocket, you pull up to a stoplight, somebody's begging for money, and you get a good feel, give them a buck. Well, last night I stopped to get air in one of my tires. And out of nowhere,
Somebody gave you $1. No.
I wish, out of nowhere, some guy walked up to me and says, "Hey man, let me help you." I was on the ground, putting in the gig into the stem. And I said, "Oh man, I appreciate that, but I got it." He goes, "Oh man, let me help you." I said, "Well, I really appreciate your kindness." He says, "No problem, man." He said, "If you need anything, I'll be right over here." I said, "Thank you so much." So I finished putting the air in. I guess he was there to get air too, but he came out of nowhere. This was weird. And I said, "Man, thank you so much." I said, "There's not enough kindness in the world. I appreciate your kindness."
Wow.
He says, "Hey man, that's what it's all about. Share it." And he said, "You know what, man, you have a really good day, and I want you to stay positive." And I thought, that's what I say.
He stole your line.
I know.
He said that?
Yeah. But I thought a lot about it when I left. I thought, could that guy have been an angel? Just to be there at a time when maybe I was feeling a little bit low or something to lift me up? Could God have sent that to me?
Low, out of air.
And it's like the timing was so perfect. But look, I say that to say this, guys. Share the love. Be kind. Be nice to people. I was just telling Brent that, one of my podcast advertisements a while back, a couple years ago, I was reading some of the comments today. People are so hateful. It's like, come on, man. And would they do it in person? Probably not. But, when you're online, nobody knows who you are. You can say what you want to say and get away with stuff. But the bottom line is, it doesn't do anybody any good to hear that kind of hatefulness. Be nice to people. You don't have to engage. If they're not nice to you, then walk away. But if they're engaging, like this gentleman was last night, engage with them. Have a conversation. What's wrong with that? People don't talk to each other anymore. Like, I make it a point to look at people when I'm at a store, when I'm driving down the road next to me, to smile, wave, how you doing? Some people take offense to that because they're not used to it, but hey, why not, man? Why not lift people up a little bit? You don't know what they're going through. And in today's world, there's so much stress that people are just stressed out, man. So bring some light to their darkness, right? Okay, I just thought I'd throw that in.
I have to say something real
Yes.
quick. You made me think of my wife and I when we took our daughter to New York City. We've only been there once.
Times Square.
Yeah.
Manhattan.
And Times Square is where we're at.
Yep.
And we went in this little cafe to get a bite to eat, and a long time ago, there were some people coming before my wife and daughter could get to me. Some other people were getting ready to come, so I opened the door and they walked in. They said, "Wow, thank you so much. Nobody does that anymore." And I was like, well, and I should not stereotype. I was like, well, does no one do that in New York City? Because we do it all the time where I'm from.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's crazy how that one thing really stood out to them.
Yes. And along those lines, I make it a point, and I would encourage you to make it a point to always open the door for people. I do it all day long. Mm-hmm. And people are usually pretty appreciative, like, "Thank you so much." And if you have to hold the door for 10 or 20 seconds, you see them coming, hold the door.
Yeah, don't let go.
Don't let...
Might hit them.
Might hit them. Okay, guys, moving on. Look, I saw this article the other day. People in their 70s, there's a new trend, are starting their own businesses. Now, you might ask, why is that so? A couple reasons. And I know most of our viewers are young, like under 30, under 40, but still, you've got parents and family and friends, and people, so I'm going to talk about this anyway. And a lot of this is happening because, first of all, people are living longer. With medical technology, they're doing better. They're not, at 70, they're not ready for their grave yet. And they've got a lifetime's worth of experience to be able to pass along and share to other people. So starting their own companies at that age is becoming more and more popular. Makes sense to me. So look, guys, I don't care if you've got a disability, if you're broke, if you're not feeling good, if you don't feel good about yourself. Look, you could start up a new business and have a new goal at any age. You don't have to give it up because you're old. And I know, like I said, most of our viewers are young, but still you might have family members that you could encourage rather than people just sitting on their butt and retiring. Go for the goal. Go for the gold. I mean, set some new goals for yourself. Help them encourage these people to have some goals to move forward in their lives regardless of their age. I try to set that example, of course, every day. People say to me, well, I did a jiu-jitsu tournament last weekend, and people were coming up to me, are you still doing your home repair business? Are you still competing? Obviously, I'm competing. I was there. I thought maybe you might retire. I'm not going to retire. To retire is to die. Stay with it, man. Do stuff. Be on top of your game every single day. And if you're fit and you're working out every day, I was telling one of my students last night, if you're fit and you're healthy and you're working out and you've got energy, that's the whole ball of wax. It's much more important than how much money you make or how pretty you look or how nice of a car you drive or how big of a home you've got. That's fine and dandy, but the bottom line is if you're not working out every day, eating right, resting well, taking care of yourself, how can you enjoy your life? Those are key ingredients to enjoying your life. But Ron, you're only going to live so long. That's okay. As long as you're alive and you're enjoying your life, that's more important than longevity, in my mind. Now, if you can get longevity and you get good health, that's bonus. Yep. At any rate, I thought that was an interesting article. So, another cool story, in my opinion anyway. I went to the doctor Thursday for my annual visit. And
he said you were crazy.
Yeah, he said I was crazy. This doctor was not what I was expecting. He was an old guy, long hair, and he had these glasses on, and I couldn't tell. He was looking at his computer as he was talking to me, but I couldn't tell if he was looking at me or the computer because his eyes were like going different directions. He had glasses on, and it was really weird. This guy was a hoot. He was telling me story after story after story, but it was a great experience to be with somebody in that position that was so friendly and kind and considerate. It's just, I'd never experienced anything. I've had some really good doctors, but this guy takes the cake, man. Takes the cake. I wonder where that came from. Takes the cake.
I don't know.
That's an old saying.
It is.
Yeah, I have to look that up.
Okay.
But Dr. Rosen is the guy's name. Cool cat, man. But it was so funny because I'm looking at him. I couldn't tell if he's looking at me or the computer because of his eyes, right? It was kind of an interesting experience. But he had a lot to say about a lot of things. And he really gave me a lot of encouragement as we talked about the knee replacement concept. We talked about exercise and, how much it helps and this and that. And a lot of his clients, and I looked around at people that were my age and they didn't look like they were in very good shape. And I thought how fortunate I felt. But look, it's a credit to taking care of yourself. If you're not taking care of yourself, guys, you're just not going to do well when you get old. You're just not. So I know you're young. I know our audience is very young. But just keep that in mind, particularly if you talk about you've got parents, you've got family members that are old. What are they doing? What can you do to help them and encourage them? So this goes for that too. It's not just about talking to you guys. It's about talking to you guys to help your family. Does that make sense?
Yep. You're saying he had a good bedside manner. I think it's what
he
they
was
call
really
it.
cool, man. He said he had leukemia and he almost died, and how he came out of that, and how he was talking about health issues and how things. I said, "Where did that come from?" He said, "I have no idea." He said it came out of the blue. So here's a doctor that doesn't even realize how he doesn't even know how he got that.
Yeah.
Which is a blood disease, right?
Yep.
It's a blood cancer.
Yep.
Crazy, huh?
Yep. No, I think it's a blessing that you got to experience that, because you know what, going to the doctor can be intimidating.
Yes.
You don't know. Most people, I think, fear the worst. And man, when you have a doctor that's not just quoting you statistics and information that they learned in school, but they're there to be a person of comfort or explaining what is going on.
Speaking of fear,
huge.
I've got a couple of comments to make about that.
Okay.
So I was reading this article, and this person was talking about fear, and he says that fear isn't real. That he said the reason you have fear is that the brain triggers fear in order to protect you. So it's a protection device. I'd never thought about it like that. And in other words, most of our feeling of fear is not real. It's because the brain is telling you to beware. But unfortunately, we use that feeling to prevent us from doing things that we would like to do. So if you really start thinking about that and analyze that, that's very, very deep. So the next time you want to do something but you have this dread, recognize that it's just a biological thing. It's like when you touch something that's hot. That's hot. The body is telling you not to move forward with that movement. Now that's important, but the brain telling you that's a little different. And I think people, if you understand that, you may be able to manipulate that in a different kind of way to pursue things that you would really like to do, but your brain's telling you not to do it. Does that make sense?
Yep.
That's heavy duty, I thought.
Yeah.
What do you think? Am I overemphasizing
I'm scared to
something
comment
here
on that. I'm afraid.
Ha ha ha. Ha ha ha, Mr. Dry Humor. Okay. Gee whiz. Isn't there like a product called, Cheese Whiz?
Cheese Whiz.
Yeah. Gee whiz, Cheese Whiz. I don't know. I'm good.
Pretty good stuff.
Yeah, I saw this article the other day. It was kind of funny. He said, you're pushing 30, so what? Some people are pushing up daisies. So the idea was, hey, quit complaining about thinking that you're old when you could be dead and not have any opportunity, right? So this guy was talking about basically, hey, quit complaining.
Yeah.
It was kind of an interesting article. Maybe it might have been a video. Speaking of videos, I was reading last night about the AI thing. Mm-hmm. The company that came out with this brand new AI product that allows you to create videos of anybody, and so all of a sudden you're seeing stuff online like I saw President Kennedy last night doing crazy stuff. I saw some of the old hip hop guys doing the Biggie and all those guys. So all of a sudden now that you can't do it anymore. Like it had to be stopped because of copyright issues. So it came and went, but they're talking about how AI is getting so powerful. That discussion keeps going and moving and going on and on, how you can make videos. You don't even need people like us anymore. Like AI can do it for you, right? So the people that are in the talent business are going to have a run for their money because of AI.
That's right.
You probably know a little bit about this being in the production business.
Ron, you're one of a kind, and there is no AI substitute.
Okay. Thank you, sir. That's funny.
You cannot be duplicated.
I get it. Look, here's another interesting story I read along the lines of martial arts. So the samurai, way back in the day, if they felt like they were going to get caught, you hear the story, they would take a knife to themselves, cut out their guts, and they would die, right? So they did that rather than be captured. But for the samurai that got captured, that didn't have that opportunity, the folklore suggests that they would bite their tongue in half, which would cause, of course, heavy bleeding to go into their system, and they would drown. So that way they couldn't be interrogated. Then I read another article that said, no, that's just folklore. So who knows what the truth is? But think about that for a second. To have the kind of courage to bite your tongue in half, that's pretty crazy. But that shows you the kind of dedication that those martial artists had back in the day. The fighters, the warriors.
Yeah.
Then I read another article that said, no, you can't bite your tongue in half. It's too thick. It's too strong. I don't know. I think I've read articles about people that had accidents, like in car accidents, they bit their tongue in half. Maybe, maybe not.
I'm not going to try it.
I don't know. We're going down a rabbit hole here. Maybe this is not good. Okay, well, gee whiz. Maybe I've talked enough. Maybe it's time for breaking news.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
What do you think?
Well, do you like bacon?
I love bacon.
Well, do you like the smell of bacon?
I love the smell of bacon.
Okay, well, guess what?
What?
Holiday Inn Express in Australia and New Zealand is launching a world first hotel experience with scent-based alarm clock.
Oh my God.
It's not a noise, it's a smell that releases on your alarm clock to improve guests' sleep and mornings.
Goodness.
It is the sweet and savory smells of breakfast and bacon that you will wake up to be refreshed and not be woken up to a loud, buzzing, screaming noise. I'm not sure I would wake up.
I'm not sure I would either.
I know I would wake up being hungry, though,
Yes.
once I did wake up, if I had that smell going on.
Are you always hungry when you wake up, by the way?
No. But there it is. See, it's just a clock, but it's got this scent
my
infuser, and it goes off.
Goodness.
Pretty cool.
That's very cool.
Pretty cool.
Not as cool as you, but
No, well,
pretty
you know,
cool.
It's
I mean,
pretty
nobody,
cool.
nothing is cool as
Pretty
you.
cool.
Pretty cool.
And today is National Hero Day.
Okay.
And how they explain the real life heroes who inspire us to be the best person we can possibly be.
Fair enough.
So it's not, like Superman or anything like that. But,
Right.
Yeah, it could be parents. It's also National Take Your Parents to Lunch Day.
Oh,
Yep. Thought you'd like that.
yeah, I like that.
And then, let's see. I thought there was another one here I wanted to talk about real quick. It is October 8th is National Children's Day.
Aw.
Yeah, so there you go.
Speaking of children, we had a lot of our children here last night for a kids class. It was pretty cool.
Awesome.
Not as cool as you, but
Awesome.
I must say that again. Not as cool as you.
Well,
But
you
hey,
know, hey,
it's for horses. I don't know where that saying came from either.
hey, tell them the story about where the saying that cost me an arm and a
It
leg.
cost me an arm and a leg. So people would say, hey, that's too expensive. That's going to cost me an arm and a leg. That saying came from way back in the day that people used to do portraits. And they would do the portrait from the neck up for one price. But if you put the rest of the body in it, they would charge you more. That's where it came from.
Yep.
It
cost
costs
you an
more.
arm.
Yeah, it costs more for the arm and the
So arm and a leg.
Isn't that
Each
crazy?
arm and leg probably costs extra.
Well, let me do one little final story here to make a point, and then we'll get out of here. So I always talk about drugs and how it affects people. And I think last week or two I talked about a friend of mine that was smoking a lot of pot, and he had a bad experience, and that because of that, he's decided to quit smoking pot and start working out more and yada, yada, yada to really improve himself. And it's working. He's doing really, really good. So that's a great success story. But unfortunately, there's a lot of not very good success stories like the opposite. And to make a really long story short, I got a phone call the other day. One of my former employees from probably 20 years ago, son, called me. He was in a mental hospital. And I haven't talked to him in a number of years, but I remember him when he was a little boy. His father worked for me. His father died from an overdose, literally almost in front of him with a needle in his arm. Really horrible story. But this kid because of his father's bad practices, would smoke pot and do drugs. And I guess he got a hold of some bad marijuana one day. He had a psychotic episode. He never got right after that. I remember him as a teenager calling me from different cities, from different jails, from hospitals, and it caused him to be basically schizophrenic. So I get this call a couple days ago. He's in a hospital, and I mean, he's talking out of his gourd. But what's really weird is he remembered me so well. He called me by my name, and at the same time he was talking to me in a very lucid sort of way. The next sentence would be, off the deep end. And I felt so bad, but I said to myself, another example of bad influence. I loved his father, but you can't raise a child like that. You become who you surround yourself with. So I say all that to say this, guys. Be really, really careful, man. Just because marijuana is legal does not mean it's good for you, A. And I'm not trying to preach, just talking out loud. And B, set the pace for the kids, man. Don't be doing stuff, at least don't do it in front of them, which I see a lot of parents do. I think that's crazy. So at any rate, I just wanted to pass that on.
Lead by example.
Yep, lead by example. And man, think things through before you do things. I mean, there's some really bad consequences that can come from these bad habits, in my opinion. Okay, I'll shut up. All right. Look, guys, any final words? Any final thoughts? Any words of wisdom?
Be kind to others.
I like that. Be kind to others, guys. Pass it on. Pass it along, right? Well, look, guys, if you don't give up, eventually those stars are going to line up. And, man, you are going to be feeling so good about yourself for hanging in there and not quitting, not giving up, not quitting, not giving up. I just see it every day. I see it every day in my life. I see it in other people's lives. The ones that don't quit, that stay the course, that keep grinding, keep working, keep trying to reach those goals. Hell, if you don't reach those goals, so what, man? Reset it for another year. We talk about it all the time. Write it down on the back of a business card, your goals, and date it and sign it so it's a legal binding document for yourself. You know that it's something you have to adhere to. And if you don't reach it in a year, reset it for another year. It's okay. Because somewhere along that year's time, you're probably going to get a little closer to that goal, even if you don't reach it. Usually, I don't make it in a year. Usually, it takes me 2 or 3 or 4 years. I don't care. As long as I'm progressing, as long as you're progressing, that's what matters. That's success. It's not finishing the job. It's working towards the job, getting further along. Okay, look. Just don't give up. But at any rate, until that time comes, and even after that time, keep your chin up, keep your head up, and always remember to stay positive.